Hey guys, NASCAR More for back again, and welcome back to another video. In today's video, it's playoff predictions episode 2 for the NASCAR Xfinity Series playoffs in 2021, where we're going to be predicting the round of 8. So basically, we're going to be predicting who are going to be the 4 drivers from the 8 that will make it into the championship 4. Last time we went from 12, and now we're 8. The last 4 drivers that were eliminated were it was Riley Herbst, Jeremy Clements, Maya Snyder, and Jeb Burton. But my prediction was Riley Herbst, Maya Snyder, Jeremy Clements, but Brandon Jones. So that was a bit of concern right there. But hey, 3 out of 4, 75%. I'll take that. Best I've ever done. So now we're going to be predicting who do I think will make it into the championship 4. So before we do that, we're going to review our 8 drivers that are in the round of 8. We're going to look at how they are at these tracks and how they did in the first round, talk about their strengths, weaknesses, and then at the end, we'll talk about the 4 drivers who I predict that will be eliminated after the round of 8, after Martinsville, and then look at the championship 4 that I predict. So let's go ahead and dive on into this video. First up, we have Justin Allgaier. Allgaier had a pretty stout looking first round. He finished second at Las Vegas to his teammate Josh Berry. He finished third at Talladega and got a 9th place finish, a solid top 10 finish at the Roval this past weekend. So a really nice first round for Justin Allgaier, pretty comfortable. And I think he should be pretty comfortable coming into this round because we're going to tracks that he's gotten some nice solid top 10s at. Like Texas, he almost won Texas earlier this year if it wasn't for Kyle Busch being that race. He finished second. Kansas, since we haven't not run Kansas in like a year, we're gonna date back to the Kansas fall race, and he finished 10th there, so that's pretty good. So watch out for all guys and stuff. And he also had that incident with Anthony Alfredo, so if that wouldn't have happened, probably have had a better finish. But he still was able to get a top 10 after having that huge incident with him. And then he finished 9th at Martinsville earlier this year. So Justin Allgaier, I feel like he'll have a nice solid first or second round of the playoffs because that averages to about like 7. So I think Allgaier should be pretty comfortable heading into this round and coming out of the round. So I think he can make the championship 4, but we'll just have to see because his strength probably is going to be at Texas, getting a nice second place finish, because mile and a halves can be either or for Justin Allgaier. It could go good or can go bad and stuff. Like at the Charlotte Roval, it was bad at first and then they recovered to get 9. So things can go pretty. You don't know what's going to happen. Expect the unexpected when we go to these mile and a half racetracks. So I feel like Texas is going to be Allgaier's best bet to already get himself into the championship 4. And his weakest spot probably going to be Martinsville, in my opinion, because I don't really find Allgaier like a short track driver and stuff. So we'll just have to see. But I think Allgaier should be pretty comfortable in this round, and he can probably make the championship 4 for, I believe, the 3rd, 4th, 5th time in a row. Next up, we have Daniel Hemrick, and Daniel Hemrick, in my opinion, is probably looking really good going into this round because these tracks are really great for him. But first, his first round of the playoffs went pretty solid, I have to say. Really, there weren't really a lot of issues. He finished 5th at Las Vegas, he got 4th at Talladega, and he just finished 3rd at the Charlotte Roval. So Daniel Hemrick, 5th, 4th, 3rd, he's improved. He's gotten a whole lot better, but just that win, that's getting to him. But Hemrick's going to really good tracks for him. I mean, Texas, he finished 4th there early this year. He finished 2nd at Kansas a year ago for Junior Motorsports. So I guess you could say that one's a bit iffy because he was in a different car and stuff, and that was a different Daniel Hemrick than he is right now. And then Martinsville, he finished 3rd there earlier this year. So watch out for Daniel Hemrick because that averages to like 3rd. So Daniel Hemrick is definitely a championship 4 contender in my opinion. It's just the question is, can he get a win or can he even win the title? That's going to be the issue because has there ever even been a Xfinity Series driver to win a championship without winning a single race in a season? I mean, we all know Matt Crafton did that in the Truck Series a couple years back, but still. But if you're going against Daniel Hemrick, don't. Go with him. Go with him and stuff, because I would not be betting against this guy because he has some really good odds going into this round and to make the championship 4 because he's heading to 3 tracks that look really good for him. So if I had to say which track would I think Daniel Hemrick's going to do best at, I would probably say Martinsville, to be honest, because he really impressed me at the short track and stuff. It just wasn't for Josh Berry or Noah Gragson in the way. He definitely could have gotten the win. So watch out for Hemrick at Martinsville. I feel like that could be his best bet to already get himself into the championship four. But I feel like he'll have some pretty nice, strong runs at Texas and Kansas. But like I said with Allgaier, those tracks can go either or. And his weakest point, the weakest thing I feel about Daniel Hemrick, I think the thing that could get him to not make it into championship four is getting into other people's mess. That's what I feel like. I feel like that he could get into someone else's mess at like Texas or Kansas, or even take damage at Martinsville. You don't know. Things are so unpredictable in these NASCAR races. So I feel like him just being in the wrong place in the wrong time definitely could cost them. But who knows? We'll see. Anything can happen, like I said. But Hemrick definitely has some really great odds heading into this round and possibly making it into the championship four. And next up, we have Austin Cindric. And Austin Cindric just once again delivering, just having a nice, really solid season. That 22 team, they finished 4th at Vegas. They got 8th at Talladega, and they almost won at the Roval, but came up so close, finishing runner-up to their rival for this season, AJ Allmendinger. So it's been a really nice, solid season for Austin Cindric in the 22 team. Going into this round, they should feel pretty comfortable as well. They finished 3rd at Texas earlier this year, so a nice, solid run. So definitely him and Allgaier are going to be going against each other for the win at Texas this weekend. Kansas, it's hard to say because it was last year, but he did win the championship last year. But in the fall race, he finished 28th because he did get damage from Noah Gragson, I believe. But then he did finish 2nd in the summer race at Kansas last year, so who knows. And then at Martinsville, he got 6th there, which is a nice, solid run. So I feel like they'll do pretty good on average and stuff. So what would I say would be Cindric's best bet to make it to the championship four? I would honestly have to say Kansas, in my opinion, because I feel like Texas, I feel like that's all Justin Allgaier, because Allgaier, even with Kyle Busch in those races, he's been better at Texas than Austin Cindric. So I feel like Kansas could definitely be a good track for Austin Cindric, because I feel like that these drivers have their own mile and a half track. Like Texas, it's Allgaier, and then Kansas, it's Austin Cindric. So I feel like Austin Cindric's best bet to make it in Championship 4 would be Kansas. As a nice, solid intermediate racetrack, and Chase Briscoe won there a year ago, I believe, to get into the Championship 4. So we'll see about Austin Cindric. And then what would I say would be his worst bet? Like, is there a possibility of Cindric not making the Championship 4? That sounds crazy, but anything can happen. We've seen what happened to Kevin Harvick before. So things I would have to say for Austin Cindric to not even make the championship four, probably getting caught into other people's messes, like I said with Daniel Hemrick, because things can be pretty unpredictable. Because I feel like he'd had a nice run at Nashville. He got taken out in that one. I don't know what happened, and he also got taken out in Michigan. There's these tracks that randomly pop up for Austin Cindric that he randomly just gets wrecked at. So Texas could happen, Kansas could happen, Martinsville could happen. So I feel like him and Daniel Hemrick are kind of in the same, for my opinion. They both have a track that they could probably do good at, and then they have some situations to where they get caught up in the people's messes or just being in the wrong place at the wrong time. So definitely that feels the same for Austin Cindric, but I'm not sure that will happen because I think he could make it into the championship four. So just watch out for Austin Cindric. Now on to our most recent winner in the Xfinity Series, AJ Allmendinger, who just won at the Charlotte Roval. He's had a really nice, solid first round. A bit iffy, if I have to say, but he still had a nice, somewhat clean round. He finished a nice, solid 7th place at Las Vegas, and they did kind of struggle there, to be honest. They finished 39th at Talladega because it wasn't really their fault. They just got caught up into someone else's mess, and it's Talladega. Very unpredictable. And then they were able to rebound after those two somewhat bad races and able to get the win at the Roval. So he had a nice, solid first round, but to be honest, if the Roval wasn't in the second round, I couldn't imagine what it would be for Allmendinger. I still think he'd be in the round of 8, but probably in a deeper hole than he could have been. So, but it doesn't matter. Can't change history. Now to Texas. He did finish 6th there earlier this year, so I feel like he'll have a nice all run. So I feel like he'll kind of be like Kansas, or not Kansas, but Las Vegas, and from the first round, just have a nice solid run and stuff, a nice solid top 10 finish. Kansas, I can't say because Allmendinger has not run at Kansas in the Xfinity Series before. I checked the stats, history books, he has not. And I would check the Cup Series stats, but that doesn't really count because that's JTG compared to Call League. So I can't really say about that. And then Martinsville, he did finish 13th there early this year, so that's a bit of a concern in my opinion. That's an average of 9.5, so I don't really know what to say. So what would I say would be Allmendinger's best bet to get into the championship four? I would say just these nice solid runs instead. I don't think he'll win in this round in my opinion, but I feel like he'll have some nice strong runs. Like I don't think he'll win at Texas or at Kansas. I feel like he'll have some nice solid strong runs there that can, make him point his way into the championship four to where he could like finish comfortably in a stage at Martinsville or something and automatically be in. But the thing I have to say about that is what is the thing that I don't think, or what is the reason why I don't think he'll make it to the championship four is Martinsville. Short tracks is not A.J. Allmendinger's cup of tea. I mean, Bristol is not Martinsville. Okay, Bristol is not Martinsville. And then Richmond, where did he even finish at Richmond? I think he finished like, I'm checking. Oh, it says he finished like 18th. So definitely the short tracks like Martinsville and Richmond are definitely going to be a concern. So Martinsville, I don't think they'll run so great. So if you think about it, if he doesn't have a good run at Texas nor Kansas, he has to leave it up to Martinsville, the paperclip, to get into the championship four. So I still think Allmendinger, he'll have a nice solid round and stuff. He just has to get nice comfortable finishes at Texas and Kansas. Needs to stay out of trouble, and then Martinsville, he just needs to bring his best. He just needs to bring his best out there because he's not a short track driver in my opinion. So that's going to be a bit of concern, but we'll see what Allmendinger can do. Next up is Noah Gragson. I feel like Gragson also had a pretty decent first round as well. He finished third at Vegas, a 1-2-3 finish for Junior Motorsports. Did get 30th at Talladega, was caught up into that one wreck. He got turned, I believe, by Brett Moffitt, but then got a nice solid 6th place finish at the Roval after he was also having some brake issues early in the race, but then he was able to recover, get a nice solid 6th place finish. Now going into this round, he finished 7th at Texas early this year, which is solid. Kansas, I'm not 100% confident in Gragson. He did wreck there in the fall race last year, and he did finish 15th in the summer race, so that's going to be a big concern for Noah Gragson in my opinion. And then he finished 2nd at Martinsville. I feel like that's going to be a really nice solid track for him, so that's about a average of like 15 or 8 or something. So I feel like Gragson can do pretty good. So what would be his strength? Martinsville. The short tracks, I feel like the bumping and banging is definitely going to be the huge strong suit for Noah Gragson, because think about this. If Josh Berry is not in the race at Martinsville, which I highly doubt, of course, I feel like he would. No, wait, Michael Annette's back. That's right. No, so I do think Gragson could win the Martinsville race, because he most likely didn't win it because his teammate Josh Berry finished a position higher. So I feel like Gragson could get the win at Martinsville. That could definitely lock him in, especially if he hasn't had a good run at Texas or Kansas, just like Chase Elliott did in the Cup Series playoffs. So he could repeat Chase Elliott's steps in the Cup Series playoffs last year. The 9-car wins at Martinsville. And if I had to say what would be his weak spot, I would probably say Kansas, just the bad runs he's had there the last couple times and stuff. So that's definitely going to be a lot of pressure on him. So we'll see what happens at Kansas. But I feel like Gragson will do pretty well. He's definitely a championship 4 contender in my opinion, but you just have to wait and see what happens, because Martinsville definitely a huge strong suit for him, but then Kansas can go bad pretty quickly because he hasn't had a nice strong run there to where I can say, oh, I think Gragson will make it through easily. But we'll just have to see, because it is the next year. Kansas was last year. We'll see what Noah Gragson can do at that track and just for the round of 8 in general. And now, once again, next up is Harrison Burton. Harrison Burton also had a pretty decent first round, in my opinion, as well. He did get 10th at Vegas, which was pretty decent. Finished 25th at Talladega, was iffy, and then he got 15th at the Roval, and he's not really a road course in my opinion, so I'll give him that and stuff. But we're going to these next tracks. Texas, he won there a year ago, but he did have to steal the win from Noah Gragson. And also think about Noah Gragson almost won that race a year ago, so really that race was kind of a bit of luck, but it did take skill for him to march it through the field and be lucky enough to get underneath Gragson in that final turn to take the win from him in an instant like that. And he did wreck at Texas earlier this year, finished 30th, so Kansas, he finished 11th there, so that's pretty solid, but you need top 10s, top 5s and stuff, so I don't think that's going to cut it for him. And then at Martinsville, he did get 7th and stuff, and I feel like Martinsville is a really good track there. He won there a year ago, and he gets 7th there earlier this year, so I think that's pretty good. And besides, Harrison Burton wasn't as good as he was last year than he is this year, so if I had to say his best bet, probably Martinsville in my opinion. I feel like Martinsville, he can definitely get it done, get a nice solid finish, maybe even win the race. He could 2 years in a row in the fall race, he could get it done in Martinsville, so we'll just have to see. But Harrison Burton, I feel like Martinsville will probably be his best bet. His worst one, I don't know. I'd probably have to say Kansas as well, because 11th, that's something that you don't really want to know, because that's 8. You finish 11th, and you have 7 other playoff drivers that could finish higher than you, maybe lower, or a couple of them finish lower, but still, Harrison Burton has to bring his best into this round if he wants to get in, because I feel, remember, he got eliminated in the first round. This is the first time he's made it into the round of 8, so he's got to bring a lot. He's got to bring his A game right now, because finishing 11th at Kansas, that's not gonna cut it and stuff, unless a lot of the drivers have a bad race. So we'll see for Harrison Burton, but not really a best bet to make it into the championship 4, but who knows, because anything can freaking happen. Now moving on to Brandon Jones, the teammate of Harrison Burton. Brandon Jones, he's had a really nice, solid first round. Got 6th at Las Vegas, finished 2nd at Talladega, kind of got screwed, and he finished 5th at the Roval. Had a nice solid run at the Roval, because I remember last year he did not have really good finishes at any road course. Or maybe had a couple, but I don't really remember. And now going into the round, Texas, he finished 5th there earlier this year. Nice solid top 5 finish. Kansas last year, he finished 9th, and he also won there a year ago in the summer race. So watch out for Brandon Jones. And he finished 5th at Martinsville early this year. So really, if we had to say any driver or the best driver to point their way into the playoffs, it would probably be Allmendinger or Brandon Jones, if you can argue with that. So what would I say would be his best bet? Honestly, I feel like any of these tracks could be Brandon Jones' best bet to make it into the championship 4 and stuff. Any of these nice solid finishes, if he could get like nice solid top 5 finishes at each of these tracks, he could make it into the championship 4. We don't know. It's a huge possibility. Now the reason why I don't think they can make the championship 4, what could be their weakest part of this round is the reason is they haven't been as good as they were last year. Last year, they were on a tear and stuff, got 3 wins. This year, they are not exactly like that. I mean, Texas, Kansas, and Martinsville, anything can happen, but it's hard to say for Brandon Jones, because you can't beat with these numbers. I mean, this averages to 6.3. That's fascinating. So really, I feel like he has a really good odds, so it's really hard to say who would be the 4 to make it in, 4 to make it out, but it's a prediction. Anything can happen. So I would actually say Brandon Jones would have a nice solid first round. I don't think anything will really go wrong, except if he gets caught up in someone's mess, but you don't know. But anyway, I feel like he could definitely have a really nice shot if he can make it into the championship 4. And now the final driver to talk about before we get into the actual predictions is Justin Haley, who's also had a pretty nice solid first round. Got 9th at Las Vegas, 6th at Talladega, and got 4th at the Roval, his best finish of the first round. So Justin Haley, I feel like he's an underdog right here, a huge underdog. Even though he's made the championship 4 before, I feel like he's a driver that you just cannot sleep on. Like Kyle Busch, don't sleep on Kyle Busch. He could make the championship 4, but we'll save that for my predictions for tomorrow, for the Cup Series. So what would I have to say for Justin Haley? I'm not 100% sure. I mean, he did get 9th at Texas earlier this year, which is okay. He got 4th at Kansas last year, which is pretty good. And he finished 8th at Martinsville earlier this year. So if I had to say his best bet, I would probably say Kansas, a track that we have not been to in a long time. I feel like he have a nice solid run there, a surprising run that could just pop out of nowhere. Now, his worst bet, I'm not 100% sure. He's not that bad at the short tracks or Texas. I don't know what to say about what Haley's weak suit could be at, but I would probably say either either or. I don't know. Something randomly could happen. Maybe what we said about Cindric or Hemrick, getting into someone's mess. Anything like that can happen, but we'll see. I feel like Justin Haley will have a nice, solid second round and stuff, but he's definitely a driver that you cannot sleep on. Don't sleep on Justin Haley. He can definitely pop out of nowhere. So I don't know really what to say would be his weakest spot in this right now. So with that, in fact, let's go ahead and predict my 4 drivers that I do not think will make it into the Championship 4. So the first driver that I don't think will make the Championship 4 is Harrison Burton. The consistency, I feel like, for Harrison Burton has definitely dwindled over the last season and stuff. Martinsville, I feel like, is a track that he could do really well at, but I'm not 100% confident, because if Harrison Burton was really good at Martinsville, I mean, if he was really truly good at Martinsville, he would have finished better than 7th. He probably would have finished 2nd or beaten Josh Berry. But we can't say that per se because he got a 7th place finish there. So we'll see for Harrison Burton. He could win at Texas. He could win at Kansas, but I just don't think the consistency will be up to the standards, because he was almost eliminated from his other cousin. So we'll see, but Harrison Burton is going to be the first driver that I predict that will be out in the round of 8. Now let's move on to driver number 2. And now the second driver that I think that will not make it into the Championship 4 is Justin Haley. I feel like Justin Haley is a really good driver that you just cannot sleep on, but this is a prediction, and I just don't really trust Justin Haley right now, because he has not done as well as he did last year, where he had a breakout year. In Texas, finishing 9th, you got to finish better than that. Kansas seems promising, but then Martinsville 8th, you don't know what's going to happen and stuff, and you don't know how much of a buffer that he'll be from the cutoff line to where he could be below the cut line, or just a little tiny bit over the cut line. So I do have Justin Haley out, which pains me to say, but you have to give a really straight up prediction. And besides, Haley, some of these drivers are definitely better than him and stuff. Well, as of like this year and stuff. So I hate to say it for Justin Haley, but if he gets eliminated, don't worry. He's heading the Cup Series, so he can't really be all too sad. But we'll see. So I believe Justin Haley will not be making it into the Championship 4. Now on to driver number 3. Now, the third driver I have eliminated is Brandon Jones, and I know I've been talking about, oh, look at Brandon Jones' stats, the 5th at Texas, the 5th at Martinsville, the 9th at Kansas a year ago. The year ago part is the part that gets to me, because this is not a year ago, and besides, this was early in the year where Brandon Jones was running really well. But then in the summer, they were having some struggles. So I'm not 100% confident in Brandon Jones right now, because I feel like he can have your hopes up and stuff like he had me this year. This year, I feel like Brandon Jones could have stolen the championship. I thought he could have made the Championship 4. I feel like he would have a great season. He let me down. He had a terrible season compared to last year. I mean, it hasn't been completely terrible. He's had a nice, solid, consistent season, but not as good as last year. Heck, he has no wins this season. So I have to say Brandon Jones is out. I mean, which pains me to say, because there's definitely some drivers I have to say are probably on the same level as him, but some are kind of better than him, so it's hard to say. So I feel like Brandon Jones is the third driver that I predict will be out in the NASCAR Xfinity Series playoffs for the 2021 season. Now, it is time for the hard part. I am down to these 2 drivers, which is very hard for me to predict of who will not make it into the Championship 4. Let's go ahead and reveal driver number 4. I'm sorry, guys. It was so hard to predict, but I don't think AJ Allmendinger will make the Championship 4 after having a 5 win stellar season in that 16 car. It was a very hard decision to make between Gragson and AJ Allmendinger. It was very hard to say, because both of them, I feel like, are pretty equal in my opinion. Well, on how recently they've been. Gragson has had some pretty decent runs here and there. Same thing with AJ Allmendinger. Now, the thing is, between these two, I feel like that these two are probably going to have some nice, solid, consistent runs at like both Texas and Kansas and stuff. It's just that Kansas may be you may give it to AJ Allmendinger at Kansas. You may think he'll have a better race, since Gragson doesn't really have the best numbers at Kansas. Or you may give it to Noah Gragson because he's ran at Kansas before. Allmendinger has never ran at Kansas in that 16 car, so you could say that. And then when it comes down to crunch time at Martinsville, who can make it? You already have 3 drivers in. Who do you pick? Gragson or Allmendinger. Who do you think between those two drivers would have the best odds to win at the paperclip? It's Noah Gragson. It's Noah Gragson. He finished runner-up there. He's really decent at these short tracks compared to A.J. Allmendinger, who's not really that good at the short tracks. Even when he ran that nice little green booger car last year at Martinsville, he didn't really finish that well. So I have to give it to Noah Gragson over A.J. Allmendinger. It's very realistic, but I hate to say this because I hope he makes the championship 4 and stuff. It'd be very cool because think about that. Think about the best reaction you could think of if Allmendinger won the championship. Think of that reaction. It'd be stellar. Him, Matt Carlin, Chris Rice, that would be amazing. But it's very hard to say, so I'm sorry to A.J. Allmendinger fans out there. I don't think your boy is going to make it to the championship 4. So I think Noah Gragson will make it along with these 3 drivers. So the 3 drivers that I predict to make the championship 4, or the 4 drivers to make the championship 4, are Justin Allgaier, Daniel Hemrick, Austin Cindric, and Noah Gragson. So those are the 4 that I predict to make the championship 4, the number 9, 7, 22, and the 18 car. Who do I think will win the championship? Who knows? It just depends on how they do heading into Phoenix. So that's going to do it for this video. So that's going to do it. So guys, thank you guys so much for watching. Please like, comment, share, subscribe. We'll have the NASCAR Cup Series playoff predictions up tomorrow on Friday, so watch out for that one. And I should be having a gaming video for my gaming channel up today and stuff, so go check that out. NASCAR Gaming 48, link to my channel will be, or to my gaming channel will be in the description. Also go to subscribe to that channel. That would mean a lot to me. Follow me on Instagram, link will be in the description. And just subscribe to this channel. We're at 177 subs, as it says right there. Around 80% of you aren't subscribed, so guys, please subscribe. It would mean a lot to me, and give me some more views. It would also mean a lot to me and stuff. But that's gonna do it. So thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. This is NASCAR Mobile 48. Peace out.